is the Hot Zone. Engaging with the news in a whole new way, international war correspondent Chuck Holton brings insight into areas of crisis and lets you help those affected.
I'm Chuck Holton. Thanks for watching the Hot Zone. I've been reporting on border issues since my career began back in 2003. And they've had a common theme, touching on the complicated and thorny issues surrounding illegal immigration, drug trafficking, and the like down on the U.S. southern border. Here's one story I did from 2007.
H.L. Cooper has been flying ultralight aircraft around southern Arizona for more than 20 years. This incredible view shows the vastness of the desert along the Arizona-Mexico border. But along with the beautiful vistas of mountains and saguaro cactus, Cooper sees another sight on a regular basis from his vantage point in the sky. Illegal aliens transporting drugs across the desert, bound for America's fifth largest city, Phoenix.
Nowadays, there's a whole lot more drug running than there used to be. This is one of the highest traffic areas. This valley here, and the next valley over there, that's the Ultra Valley over there, and it's a heavily traveled route there.
Illegal immigration has always been an issue. What's changed is the level of violence.
It's been getting worse and worse, but as far as safer, no. We're right in the middle of it. When they come out of this valley, we're one of the first places they come to. We've been vandalized, we've been stolen from. We used to hike all over the desert out here. Anymore, now we don't go out without being armed.
And the problem isn't only on the ground.
The Border Patrol reports that drug runners are using ultralight aircraft like this to bring loads of drugs across the border and drop them in the United States. But they're not the only thing in the sky.
Recently, the Border Patrol started using remotely piloted surveillance aircraft to patrol the desolate stretches of desert where smuggling is prevalent. These eyes in the sky also help the effectiveness of agents on the ground. But residents along the border say more needs to be done. Rancher Ed Ashurst's neighbor was murdered by a drug runner earlier this year.
When I first moved to this country, most of the activity you saw was people going north looking for a job. The last several years it's changed into mainly outlaw activity. They pack dope north, drop it off, and on the way south they like to break into homes here on the American side and pack off things. They really like to steal firearms, and 80% of the homes have been burglarized in the last 2 winters by illegal aliens.
Seeing it, we have more illegals that come through our county than any other county.
Further north, Pinal County Sheriff Paul Babu says his hands are full protecting residents here from the drug violence, and he hasn't gotten much help from the federal government. In fact, the Obama administration recently supported the ACLU in bringing a lawsuit against Babu and several other Arizona sheriffs, suing to stop them from enforcing Arizona's immigration law.
This is a hotbed for criminal activity. We need soldiers, armed soldiers to the border now to stop this from continuing. In response to our plea for help and for armed soldiers, they put up these signs, not written in Spanish, not facing south to the Mexican border, but facing north in English, warning to our citizens, travel not recommended. This is unacceptable.
While the war of words continues in Washington, the people of southern Arizona face weapons that are much deadlier. This year alone, the drug war along the border has claimed more than 2,500 lives. That's nearly 5 times the number of American troops killed this year in Afghanistan.
I believe that this is a greater threat against our national security than any other threat that exists today, an unsecured border.
Pinal County law enforcement regularly encounters armed drug smugglers who have all but taken over wide areas of this high mountain desert.
From this point on, it's a standing order that we don't come more than 2 deputies coming out here due to one of our deputies getting shot in the leg.
In addition to the danger, trash left by illegals is becoming a major environmental hazard. Okay, so this is kind of what we're seeing here. The illegals come down out of the mountains, come across the desert, 3 to 5 days walking, then they dump all their stuff here next to the freeway, get on trucks, and head into Phoenix. But this is something interesting. Notice this bag. It has an American flag on it, and it says United States Aid from the Agency for International Development, USAID, aid from the American people. This is a bag that we sent down to Central America filled with bulgur wheat, and now it's coming back filled with drugs. But piles of garbage are the least of these deputies' worries as they continue to face attacks, both from drug runners and the federal government. Chuck Holton, CBN News, on the border in southern Arizona.
I went to visit the region in the last week of January, and here's what's happening there now. More than 5,000 construction jobs are gone with the stroke of Joe Biden's pen, as fully funded government contracts to build this wall were told to stop work immediately. More than 280,000 tons of completed bollard fencing will sit unused in depots like these. This is downtown Juarez, Mexico, and there's a square here in the city center is full of people, but many of these people are not Mexican. They're from all over Central America and even as far away as Africa and the Middle East. They're here because they're under the Remain in Mexico policy that was started under President Donald Trump. That policy is likely to be going away very soon, but so far, these people are still stuck here on the Mexican side of the border. Guatemala, something like that, or maybe southern Mexico. This is the We Build the Wall project, that privately funded part of the border wall that was constructed with private funds right here outside of El Paso, Texas. And it's made a big difference in the number of migrants coming through this area. We went and talked to one of the owners of this property about the effects that it's had, and especially what's happened since the Biden administration took office.
Before the wall went up, I was catching 50 to as many as 150 illegals a day myself with the help of my dog. Nobody was ever hurt. But since the walls went up until recently, I was seeing, a handful a week. That was it.
After the inauguration, however,
the numbers are picking up greatly again. Now they're catching anywhere from, 30 to 70 a night. And the ones that are coming over, they're not just giving up. They're aggressively resisting. They're physically resisting. A lot of them are having to be handcuffed and stuff like that now.
So this mountainside behind me is where many of the migrants are crossing now, because it's one of the few places near El Paso that doesn't have a massive fence. So since the We Build the Wall project went up here, made it a lot more difficult for these migrants to just cross right through what used to be called the tortilla curtain. Now they go up this mountain behind me, cross over the ridge, and come down this footpath I'm standing on right now. You can tell that they've been here because there are lots of trash like water bottles. I see some shoelaces here. And they from here go right down this washout and right into El Paso. And there are Border Patrol agents spread out around here, but as you can imagine in the dark, it's pretty hard to catch them. We just saw one group of about 6 migrants crossing up on the Mexican side of the border, and most likely, if it weren't for these lights and our cameras, they'd be coming right down this washout behind me in a matter of moments. Sure enough, just a few moments later on the backside of the same mountain, a group of 6 Honduran and Cuban men were apprehended trying to cross into the United States. But there's a twist. They were not arrested by U.S. agents. Rather, the Mexican army detained them before they could cross. A Mexican immigration officer explained their country is still abiding by the agreements made with the Trump administration, and Border Patrol in the United States told us they're very thankful Mexico is staying true to its word to help reduce illegal immigration. One agent spoke anonymously out of fear of retaliation by the new administration.
I got COVID because of them. Every agent has gotten COVID because of them. I was out for 3 months with COVID. Problem is, I go home, I gave it to my wife, gave it to my son, gave it to my dad, and he's 85 years old. It's a mess, man.
How many of those people are repeated offenders, have been back here?
All of them.
Really?
Almost all of them.
But with the Biden administration committed to reversing the policies of his predecessor as soon as possible, it's likely many more migrants will be crossing this barrier very soon.
The Hot Zone is produced by Amy Holton and Livefire Media. Copyright 2019.